everyone, this is Femnimorta here, and today I have yet another Avengers X-Rater story. So, it's been a while since I've done a Doctor Strange X-Rater, which I really wanted to finish this much sooner, and by the way, I really apologize about this being a bit of a long story, but okay. What happened is that I had a first draft of this story on Wattpad, but I may or may not have accidentally deleted it. I don't know how it happened, so I had to suffer and rewrite the entire story from scratch. So a little bit of it was changed and everything. I changed out one of the parts because honestly I thought it was a little too pervy or whatever. But, I don't know. I thought that it was a little too pervy for this audience that we have. Nonetheless, guys, of course, I will be making a separate video, by the way, which will be literally just not me reading, but me leaving a link to every single lemon, every single inappropriate story that I have made, just so you guys can have your nosebleeds. So that's going to be the next video that I make and everything, and I'm going to be leaving a lot of links down below, so wait for that, okay? But with all of that out of the way, let's get started. You are walking down to the break room on your floor. When you got there, you nearly had a heart attack at who you saw leaned up against the wall on his phone. Dr. Stephen Strange. He looked up from his phone and smirked at your bewildered expression. You cleared your throat and began walking to the fridge. You found your drink, insert favorite soda here, and you opened it and began taking a big sip. You looked over at Stephen and saw that his eyes were glossing over every single curve on your body. You felt a blush grow on your cheeks, and your instincts told you to walk out and never go in that break room again. You sighed as you finished your sip, and you then began walking out of the break room, into your section of the hospital, when a voice suddenly cut you off. You're new here, aren't you? You looked behind you and saw Steven looking directly at you. Kinda? I transferred here from Texas a month ago. Ah, so you're a country girl. Does that mean you ride horses and listen to that awful country music? He laughed at his somewhat offensive joke. First of all, country music is the best. And second, I've only ever ridden a horse once. I'd rather go to Comic-Con than a rodeo. Oh, so you're a nerd? He shot back quickly. He giggled. You could say that. Kind of the reason I came to New York in the first place was to see if I could bump into an Avenger. I've seen them. I've always seen them as overrated. I think I'm the real lifesaver, and I don't even have any superheroes, aside from magic hands. He fluttered. You giggled. Suddenly, your conversation was interrupted by one of your coworkers. Hey, your name. You're needed in CSI. A kid has had an asthma attack. Okay, I'll be right there. She nodded and left. You turned back to Steven and smiled. So, I guess I'll be seeing you later? Depends. How later? You gave him a confused look and he chuckled. How about we head out for drinks later tonight? Maybe 9 o'clock? Seems kind of late to take a lady out for drinks if you ask me, he said with sass. Like either of us care. I'll see you then. He then left the break room and he left to go to your patient. And now for a time skip. You were clocked out. When you were clocked out and grabbing your stuff, your best friend came along and smirked evilly. So, you and the infamous Dr. Stephen Strange. Who would have think? She said as she put an arm around your shoulder. You groaned and pulled away. We're just going out for drinks and... How did you even find out about that anyway? A little birdie told me, she said with a voice as smooth as silk. You groaned and checked the clock. 8:58, you muttered under your breath. You didn't even say goodbye to your friend and just walked to the elevator. You honestly forgot to ask Stephen where to meet, so you decided to just go and look for him. When you got to the parking garage, you found him standing by his car. Stephen! You shouted. You jogged over to him and he smirked. You ready to go? He said. Sure, he said, getting in his car. Wait, do you have your car parked here? No, I took an Uber here. My car's in the shop. He nodded and drove to the nearest bar. When you guys got there, you were blown away with the strong scent of alcohol. You were not a heavy drinker, so you felt a little foreign here, but Stephen guided you in further. You both ordered your drinks, and after a little while of fun chatter, it was time to go home. When you both got to your front door, you slurred, "So, do you want to come inside?" You giggled as you realized what she said. Stephen just chuckled and he smiled as you attempted to get your keys in the lock, but failing miserably. Stephen put his hand on yours and he helped you get the key in and unlock the door. You looked at him and giggled again before a hiccup came. "Alright, I think you need some rest." "No, don't go. At least walk me to bed first," he said as you swayed inside. He sighed playfully and followed you in. You nearly fell, and he picked you up bridal style. You guided him to your room, and he laid you on the bed. You quickly fell asleep, and he smiled. He brushed the hair out of your face and gave you a quick kiss on the cheek before leaving. The end. I was actually really proud of how this one turned out, honestly, because I had originally been inspired by someone on DeviantArt who had made not a similar story to this, but they had made a story about a shy nurse who had a crush on Steven. I'll have to find the story and potentially make a post about it, maybe leave a link down below to the video in this video, because it was a really good story and I highly recommend it to any Doctor Strange X-Rater lover. And this first draft that I had originally made honestly wasn't as good as this one per se, and I kind of improvised towards the end because I finished the rest of this writing in this past hour of recording. So I'm quite proud of it, honestly, and I hope that I can be able to manage to make a little bit more stories, at least a couple more within the coming days, because I'm on spring break now. But I do want to say that the next X-Rater that I plan on making is a Sherlock X-Rater, and it's kind of emotional. I'm not going to leave any hints to what it is, but I will say this. Let's just say that Sherlock and his girlfriend are going to be put through a major test. And with that, this is Fandom Writer, and I'll be seeing you all very soon. Bye-bye!